If you've reached this message, let me tell you something with complete conviction. This isn't about algorithms or random chance. It's the cosmos answering that question your spirit asked in silence. There, in that small corner of your heart, where doubt began to creep in. There's something you needed to hear today, right now, before your uncertainty transforms into surrender. I know you've been staying quiet. I know you've been moving forward as if everything had ended, trying to convince yourself that you've turned the page. But deep down, there's a question haunting you, an uncertainty stealing your peace. And this question about the future of this bond can only be answered by the divine plan. The answer reaches you now with a clarity you can no longer ignore. Forget that thought that you're exaggerating what you feel. You're not imagining this intensity. You don't love in vain, nor do you love alone. The bond connecting you to this person is genuine, a tie that wasn't born from the mind, but from the spirit. It's not a fleeting impulse, but a profound meaning. The central message you need to hold within yourself is this. Today, the cosmos confirms that you shouldn't surrender. You're on the edge of a manifestation that was prepared long ago for both of you. You have no idea how much energy is moving behind the scenes in your favor. That sensation that something is about to shift isn't illusion. The persistence of this story within you, the fact that this person's name won't leave your head and your heart keeps returning, there isn't a sign of dependency or fixation. It's a signal. It's a feeling that cannot be artificially created, but belongs to a purpose that neither distance, nor time, nor silence can destroy. Therefore, the first major step today is this. Stop seeing distance as failure. In reality, physical distance is just an illusion, because the energetic bond between you is more alive than ever. Your spirit is in constant contact with theirs. You're connected by an invisible thread. That feeling of emptiness you experience is the mirror of the other person feeling your absence. This absence is the tool that fate uses. This person carries your name deep within. Even if they withdraw or hide behind their own fears, the cosmos sees beyond what humans try to conceal. So don't give up on what entered your life with such profound purpose. This love isn't whim. It's something that comes from a much more spiritual and divine place. In the upcoming moments, you'll recognize the first visible and clear confirmation that their spirit is calling you energetically right now. But to understand this, you first need to comprehend what's happening in the invisible dimension. The key to this story continuing isn't in what you do externally, but in your inner certainty. Remain steady, not from impatient expectation, but from deep confidence that what's yours won't disappear, and what destiny united cannot be broken. Trust your intuition. That feeling telling you the love is still there. That's the only truth you need now. Understand that there's someone who genuinely loves you, someone who thinks about you more times than they admit. And this is only the beginning. If you're ready to integrate this perception into your life, then leave a heart in the comments. And now that you've recognized the authenticity of your intuition, it's essential to move from doubt to understanding, to an awareness of the invisible reality surrounding you. Despite the silence and the distance, you're not walking alone. The intensity you feel isn't deception, but a truth planted within you. If the cosmos united you, crossed your paths, and planted within you a conviction you cannot deny, then it's because this purpose transcends human logic. Perhaps you've felt that this bond demands more than you receive, or that you're clinging to something that seems to be dissolving. This is an illusion of perception. The truth is, you're being guided, and the cosmos wouldn't plant a love of this magnitude in your heart just to leave you without direction. When your heart keeps returning to the same place, it's not because your mind deceives you, but because there's a tie that doesn't arise from impulse, but directly from the spirit. This feeling is genuine, and this purpose cannot be destroyed by silence or by distance. The real question is, why does this story still live within you? Because her name doesn't disappear, because this bond doesn't break. The answer is simple: because it's more alive than you believe. What belongs to you on the energetic level cannot vanish. What destiny united cannot be broken by misunderstandings or pauses. Therefore, this feeling within you that resists forgetting isn't weakness. It's your spirit confirming that this love belongs to you. There's a profound difference, almost insurmountable, between what your eyes see and what your spirit perceives. What your eyes see is just the surface, a person who appears distant, cold, or indifferent. But the cosmos tells you, don't be fooled by this surface. Inside, this person carries feelings that hold your name. Love of this type doesn't always express itself logically. Sometimes it hides, blocks itself, or protects itself. Afraid of losing everything, this person thinks about you far more times than they would admit. They feel your absence, your energy, your silence. They notice when your name is mentioned, when they remember a conversation, or when they look at a photo they can't delete. They feel an emptiness they cannot explain, and even though you believe they moved forward, they haven't. If you think you're indifferent to them, you're not. If you think they forgot you, they didn't. Some feelings return, some memories hurt. Certain signals accompany them. There are moments when they stop in the middle of the day just to think about you. The cosmos witnessed all these moments. But let's look at something concrete. How can you know this bond is genuinely active right now? If the person feels your absence, how does this manifest in your reality, in your body? The first tangible signal that this bond is active is emotional telepathy. The person isn't absent because they don't love you, but because they don't know how to handle the intensity of their own feelings. Some spirits love so deeply that, paradoxically, they become afraid, freeze, or briefly withdraw to be able to breathe again. So, while you wonder why everything seems to have stopped, the cosmos shows you that, in reality, nothing stopped. On the contrary, this person's emotions are moving more powerfully than ever, just in secret internally, in the place where you cannot see, but where destiny is already working. This interior movement has a direct effect on your energy and manifests through symptoms that you incorrectly attribute to stress or to coincidence. When this person thinks about you intensely, their energy travels through the thread of the spirit and reaches you. It can appear as sudden sadness or inexplicable melancholy, without any clear reason in your daily life. It's the pain of their longing, the echo of regret that enters your emotional field. You believe it's your sadness, but in reality, it's theirs. Another frequent signal is a sudden and unavoidable memory. In the most unexpected moments, their image or a shared memory appears in your mind with such clarity that you stop. This isn't coincidence. It's the cosmos showing you what your intuition already knew for a long time. The bond isn't broken in their heart. You're more present than you imagine. It's their spirit sending this thought to you. This bond can also make itself felt physically through an inexplicable warmth or a light burning sensation in your face or chest, precisely in moments when they think about you with affection or longing. There, the energy of their love reaches you. When they're full of fear and withdraw internally, you might feel a sudden coldness or an emptiness in your stomach, as if your energy had been briefly taken. Another very specific signal is the activation of music. Suddenly, you hear a song you shared or a new melody that reminds you of them. This isn't coincidence. It's the cosmos using sound as a bridge to remind you that the bond is alive and that this person feels this powerfully. When they hear your name and something stirs within them, that vibration travels to you and resonates within you. There are nights when they think about you before sleeping, and days when a memory of you tightens their chest. Even when they stay silent to pretend strength, the cosmos sees the truth they cannot speak. Therefore, if your intuition has been stronger than ever lately, and you feel that something is moving on the spiritual level, even on days you swore to let it go, then listen to that feeling. It's not a sign of dependency or fixation, but of clarity. The cosmos shows you through small signals that this love still lives, that invisible threads connect your hearts, and that thoughts travel without words. The love this person feels for you cannot simply be switched off. It's a love that fights against itself, that tries to comprehend the incomprehensible, resist the irresistible. Your presence left a mark on their spirit so deep they can't even admit it to themselves. And it's exactly because of this that you shouldn't give up. Now, we've already recognized that your feeling isn't illusion, but a certainty confirmed by the energy flowing between you. But the inevitable question arises, why is this tie so enduring that neither time nor distance can erase it? The answer lies in the concept of destiny's plan, what on the spiritual level is called a spirit agreement. You need to understand that this bond isn't coincidence. It never was a mere encounter or passing attraction that disappears at the first obstacle. This bond is the result of a greater plan, a spirit pact made on a superior level, long before you met in this physical world. It's a pact of growth, awakening and shared purpose. When two spirits are linked by destiny's plan, the energy doesn't permit a final separation until the lesson or purpose of this encounter is fulfilled. That's why all attempts from both sides to let go or forget are in vain. And this is the undeniable proof that this is a genuine bond. What's human can break. What's destined resists. The cosmos would never allow a key element of your spiritual growth to be lost just because one of you got scared. The love you feel for this person isn't an emotion that can be destroyed by distance. It doesn't come from a human decision, but from a superior decision. The reason why their name doesn't disappear from within you, despite all efforts, is because your spirit honors this pact. It's like an energetic anchor connecting you to this truth. When the bond remains, when the memory continues vibrating, it's because the cosmos is constantly showing you the authenticity of this tie. It's destiny's way of telling you, remain centered. This process belongs to me. I control the synchronicity. There's something essential to understand about destiny's plan. Within it, there's no confusion, only necessary pauses. The cosmos would never place you in a situation where your heart is hurt without meaning. If there's silence now, it's not the end. It's an energetic phase of reorganization. Destiny is working on the other person so they return to you stronger, whole, and more determined. It doesn't want you to receive someone who's only halfway ready, nor does it want you to remain in a state of fear and restlessness. That's why the tie doesn't break. It stretches and relaxes, but the core of the bond remains, guaranteeing that you'll meet again at the right moment. What seems to you an endless wait is, in reality, exactly the time the other person needs to heal their layers and fulfill this spirit contract with the necessary maturity. The silence that hurts and confuses you isn't indifference. Quite the contrary. On the energetic level, it's overload. To understand why this person withdrew, we need to examine the anatomy of silence and what's happening within them. This person is experiencing an emotional intensity they don't know how to handle. You, through your sensitivity and spiritual bond, have the tools to understand the depth of this tie. They, however, haven't yet reached that stage in their development. The magnitude of this love, the power of this bond, and the certainty that you're the person they were seeking provoked an energetic shock within them. Their silence is an expression of profound fear of vulnerability. Like a wild animal that retreats when injured, they withdrew into themselves to lick their wounds, to understand, to protect themselves from something they perceive as too powerful. This pause is their attempt to rationalize the irrational. They believe that distance, silence, and ignoring the bond could reduce the intensity and return control over emotions. But the cosmos tells you, This behavior is a mistaken perception, not a sign of lack of love. The silence is the sound of their fear, and this fear is so great because the bond with you is the most genuine and profound thing they've ever felt. They're not afraid of you, but of the power of their own feelings. They fear that if they surrender completely, the pain of a possible loss would be unbearable. So they prefer to withdraw before the bond grows even more. Inside, they're now fighting against their own nature, their human ego, the wounded voice that says, protect yourself, keep distance, don't trust this beauty. And their spirit, the voice that calls your name and yearns for your closeness. The silence is the battlefield where this fight happens, but the cosmos isn't idle. Within this silence, a movement of such power is forming that the person cannot avoid facing it. Destiny creates circumstances that constantly remind them of what they lost or put on hold. The absence of your energy seems to them a burning void that nothing and no one can fill. Each attempt to fill this void with distraction, other people or things, only makes them feel more clearly how strong this bond was and still is. Therefore, when you're tempted to interpret their silence as lack of love or indifference, pause. The silence is proof of their internal struggle. It's the anatomy of a heart being propelled by the cosmos to heal old wounds before being able to meet you in the way you deserve, to heal the bond and allow destiny to fulfill its purpose. You need to understand what they're fighting against. Their distance and silence aren't acts of not loving, but expressions of an ego armor constructed over many years. An armor that the cosmos is now dissolving, layer by layer. This armor is the strongest barrier, preventing them from moving forward. But the love you represent, so great, so pure, so unconditional, acts as a mirror of their own light. For spirits that experience wounds and betrayal in the past, it can be profoundly frightening to recognize themselves in such clear light. In these moments, the protective wall of ego reacts instinctively, trying to protect them from a pain long past, but still feared by their emotional memory. The true source of their fear isn't in the future, but in the past, in the fear that the intensity of this bond could end, like previous experiences, in disappointment, loss, or abandonment. That's why the cosmos is conducting them through a profound interior transformation, a type of dark night of the spirit in which they're forced to face fears, old wounds, and unresolved patterns. This phase of silence and apparent solitude is necessary for them to recognize their own shadows, heal wounds, and release burdens from the past. The cosmos is removing their capacity to flee, forcing them to confront themselves and see the truth of feelings. This darkness isn't curse, but purification, a process that leads them to abandon old beliefs and defense mechanisms layer by layer. When they return, it shouldn't be from necessity, but from inner wholeness. You are simultaneously healing and challenge for them, remedy and exception. Their ego resists, but their spirit recognizes that the love emanating from you is too strong to continue living in illusion. Destiny shows them unmistakably that no defense mechanism and no control can hold against the power of a bond born from a superior purpose. This period of separation, however, isn't a unilateral process, because while the cosmos works on their fears, it also heals yours. You're learning to love without losing yourself, to remain calm without depending on their presence, and to trust even when you don't see visible proof. Destiny is molding both of you, them to become braver, you to become calmer. When the moment of reunion arrives, it must emerge from a place of balance, not from lack or yearning. All of this leads to a decisive turning point. The cosmos showed you that reunion is part of the divine plan, but the speed with which it's fulfilled depends on how clear you are in your faith. Doubt slows the flow while certainty accelerates. Every form of lack, fear, or impatience energetically sends the signal that you're not yet ready to receive what belongs to you. But when you rest in certainty, this energy becomes magnetic. It attracts without forcing. Therefore, declare your faith, because words carry creative power. When you declare with total conviction, "My spirit trusts in the manifestation of this destiny," you send a clear signal to the cosmos. This act of trust isn't a mere ritual, but a reordering of your inner frequency. You break the chains of doubt and open the gate for manifestation. From this moment forward, your task isn't passive waiting but conscious release. The law of magnetic detachment teaches you that attraction arises from calmness. Who pursues repels, who trusts attracts. If you try to force the bond through fear, control, or worry, you unconsciously create resistance that blocks energy. But when you release, you remain open. Releasing doesn't mean giving up on love. It means trusting that it will find the way back to you freely, maturely, and at the right time. Trusting means believing unconditionally that the cosmos, which already placed love in your path, knows better than you when and how you should reunite. To genuinely apply this law, you need to stop energetically pursuing the other person. Energetic pursuit doesn't happen only through actions, but through thoughts, expectations, and emotional fixation. Every time you check their social networks, wait impatiently for a message or focus all your energy on what they're or aren't doing, you transfer your power to lack and uncertainty. The spiritual practice of detachment calls you to bring your energy back to your own center, to your life, your growth, your peace. When you begin to elevate your vibration without needing external validation, you transform into a magnet. The cosmos sees you in peace, confident in your path, radiant in your own energy. This frequency sends a clear message. I am whole. I am abundant, and what's mine will find me without force. This inner state is what the other spirit feels when in their dark night they yearn for light. Your balance creates a magnetic vacuum that naturally attracts them back. Once you stop sending pressure and fear, the true resonance of the spirit bond begins to function pure, free from resistance. They don't return from pity or control, but because your energy became so clear and strong that their spirit has no choice but to reunite with yours. This is the essence of magnetic detachment, releasing to attract. But to genuinely understand why the cosmos chose this path, we need to comprehend why this separation was necessary. If the bond is so deep and meaningful, why did the cosmos allow this painful pause? Because this separation isn't punishment, but part of the plan, an activation of destiny. The pause is training, a preparation so this love can exist in its true form. The intensity of your bond was so great that without healing and awareness, it would have collapsed under the weight of its own immaturity. The first hidden purpose of this separation lies in the maturing of the tie. When you met, both acted from old patterns, from fear, dependency, or need for validation. The cosmos knew this dynamic would cloud the purity of your love. So, it intervened to create space for awareness. This phase of solitude was a type of spiritual incubator. You learned to love yourself independently of their attention, while they were forced to face fears without the refuge of your closeness. The second purpose of this pause is transformation. Destiny doesn't want repetition of the past, but a new bond, more conscious, deeper, and more stable. The pain of this pause is the price of growth. Through absence, both of you come to understand the true value of what exists between you. The other person's spirit recognizes that you're irreplaceable, that no other bond will ever feel so complete, because no other carries the same spirit agreement. That's why the cosmos continuously creates situations that remind them of you. Moments when they feel the vacuum of your energy and realize they distance themselves from the true path. This pause is, in reality, an act of pure love from the cosmos. A superior power says, "I'll protect this bond until both are ready. I'll separate you to heal you, so you can return whole, conscious and forever. The pain you feel now is temporary, but the understanding born from it is eternal. The love that returns will be different from any you've ever lived, because it will be born from awareness, not from need. Now that magnetic detachment put energy in motion, and the other spirit's dark night reached its peak. The moment begins when your faith takes visible form. The cosmos promised you that this separation is only temporary, and now it's time to recognize the signals, confirming that return is imminent. The first and clearest of these signals is the increase of genuine interior telepathy. They are no longer vague memories or diffuse yearning, but clear and vivid thoughts appearing in quiet moments. Waves of warmth, joy, or tenderness suddenly flooding you are proof that your spirits are already communicating again. What you feel now are the other person's emotions, no longer in resistance but in flow. Their heart begins to surrender to the truth of feeling, and in the moment they allow it, their energy reaches your field directly. Pay attention to timing. If you find yourself awake at the same hour every night, it might be the moment when their spirit is most active, or when a memory touches them so deeply it pulls them from sleep. Another clear signal is the repetition of certain numbers. The cosmos speaks through synchronicity, and numbers are one of its most precise languages. If you suddenly see the same numbers repeatedly, 111 for spiritual alignment, 222 for balance and duality, 777 for spiritual reward, it's not coincidence. These patterns are the cosmos's way of whispering. Divine timing is accelerating, the path is opening. They're visible confirmations that invisible work is already bearing fruit. A third powerful signal is the collapse of fear and triumph over absence. The other person reaches the point where the pain of separation is greater than the fear of closeness. This is the moment destiny prepared. The point where running no longer makes sense. The void that your magnetic release left becomes unbearable for them. Before, they could distract themselves, hide behind walls, but the cosmos leaves no escape. Restlessness, insomnia, and the feeling of not finding peace without you become their driving force. When their heart realizes that life without you is harder than the risk of loving you again, the silence breaks. Then comes the fourth and final phase, sudden clarity. When they return, it won't be with uncertainty or half-truths. Their dark night of the spirit burned ambivalence. You'll feel in their voice, in their gaze, and in their actions clarity, determination, reciprocity. This reunion won't be halfway, but a conscious manifestation. The cosmos didn't allow separation for you to stumble again, but to prepare you for a new beginning, mature, clear, healed. The reunion is inevitable because it no longer depends on your actions, but on the conclusion of their inner healing cycle. Stay alert to signals. They're proof that your intuition was right. What you feel isn't fantasy, but certainty. The cosmos acted, and what's yours is already on the way, closer than you imagine. You were guided from doubt to clarity. Now you know the truth. It's not fixation, but a destiny tie. The silence wasn't indifference, but healing. The wait wasn't punishment, but an act of universal love to protect the purity of this bond. Your final task is to preserve your center and elevate your energy. Don't wait idle. Live, grow, create, love your life. When this person returns, let them see you in your fullness, calm, radiant, free, not as someone who needs them, but as someone ready to truly love. Destiny promised, what the cosmos unites will never be broken. There may be pauses, distances, but the invisible thread between two spirits doesn't break. Sooner or later, they'll be led back to you, not by your plea, but by the irresistible gravity of destiny. The void you left within them constantly reminds them where the true home is. And when they return, it won't be the same love. It will be a matured love, conscious, a love that resisted the test of silence and distance. Receive them with wisdom. Hold them with the strength you built in this time. Don't let doubt one day destroy the certainty of your destiny. Don't give up now when you're on the edge of miracle. Trust the process you cannot see. Trust the synchronicity of the cosmos. Trust that they love you and are finding courage to return. Your love is genuine. Your path is true and manifestation is inevitable. Speak once more with peace in your heart. My spirit trusts in the manifestation of this destiny because what's yours already carries your name. Breathe deeply, close your eyes and feel certainty flow through you. What now approaches you is clarity, movement, and realization.